You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Catholic Chicago that we devote to Catholic schools. So we'd like to call it Catholic Schools Today. I'm Vince Girasoli. I want to thank you very much for joining us. And this is originally being streamed and broadcast on the day just after Easter, on Easter Monday. We put together here at the Archdiocese Office of Multimedia Content and Radio and Television Production, we put together an Easter Mass, and we were fortunate enough to have two of our area Catholic schools participate with their choirs and create some glorious sounds, and we wanted to talk just a little bit more about that. The first choir we're going to dedicate our time to today comes to us from Mother McAuley School, and I want to welcome the choir director, Carrie Elefantis. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to see you again virtually, and it was even greater to be on the grounds of the school and listen to the glorious voices of the students. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking us, and we were just thrilled to be able to sing for you for the Easter service.
We're going to hear the young women sing in just a moment, but I want to ask, in general, how much time goes into rehearsing and preparing for your concerts and performances?
You know, each performance is different. It sort of depends on the amount of time that we have prior, knowing that we have a performance coming up. So, for instance, we just performed recently for the WGN St. Patrick's Day broadcast, and we didn't have too much advance notice for that. So I would say we practiced we had about 4 rehearsals for that one.
And then you pulled it all together. I got to see you on TV, and it was great. So you worked your magic in a short amount of time. How many students do you have in your music program and your choral program? And then are they divided into separate choirs as well?
Yeah, so we have 5 curricular choirs. We have our beginning chorus, chorus 1. We have an intermediate, chorus 2. We have our advanced chorus. And then additionally, we have our a cappella choir and our Mac Melody show choir. And with all those students, we have about 120 in the choral program. But then additionally, we have our strings program, which is pretty unique to our school in that students can come in and not even know an instrument and can pick it up for the first time as a freshman here. And then we have our band program that we do in conjunction with Brother Rice.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you all get together and you make some beautiful music. How about we stop talking about the music and listen to it? This is one of the selections that the choir was able to perform for us for our Easter broadcast. And we'd like you all to be able to have a chance to listen to it now.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting if we try, Lord, if we
Oh, I don't want to show you, but I was clapping my hands here in the studio and dancing around. That was just wonderful. Congratulations on that beautiful sound, Carrie. They really are great, aren't they? I mean, what a lovely sound.
I think so. I think they're great. And we love that piece. We love the line where it says, I was singing with my sisters. I think that like sort of speaks to all the kids here
And the
at
sisterhood at
McAuley.
the school. That's great. How do you go about choosing the particular pieces that you perform?
You know, sometimes I hear something new and I think, oh gosh, the choir would sound so beautiful singing that. Sometimes the kids will bring something to me and say it's something that they're interested in doing. Um, Sometimes it gets dictated by the theme, like our theme for our spring concert is Seasons of Love. So obviously we're doing Seasons of Love.
525,006. I'm not going to sing the
That's
rest of
it.
it for you. You know, that's a Broadway song, and you and members of the chorus are headed to New York and Broadway. You're going to be taking in some of the shows there, but you were kind enough to spend some time with us today. So, Carrie, I'm going to thank you, and then we're going to listen to another one of the performances from our Easter broadcast. And then coming up on the other end of that, we're going to talk to one of the members of the chorus. So, Carrie, thank you for joining us this morning. And if you enjoyed the sounds of the first selection, sit back and relax, because here's more music for you now from the Mother McAuley Choir.
Rise, shine, for the light is a-comin'. Rise, shine, for the light is a-comin'.
Well, what's the timing look like? You tell me what.
Shine, for the light is a-comin'. My Lord says he's coming by and by. This is the year of Jubilee. My Lord says he's coming by and by. My Lord has set his people free. My Lord says he's coming by and by. Oh, rise, shine, for the light is a-comin'. Oh, rise, shine, for the light is a-comin'. Rise, shine, for the light is a-comin'. My Lord says he's coming by and by. I'm gonna shout and never stop. My Lord says he's coming by and by. Until I reach the mountain top. My Lord says he's coming by and by. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine bright, shine, for the light is a-coming. Oh, bright, shine, for the light is a-coming. Bright, shine, for the light is a-coming. My Lord says he's coming by and by. Oh, bright, shine, for the light is a-coming. Oh, bright, shine, for the light is a-coming. Bright, shine, for the light is a-coming. My Lord says he's coming by and by. Rise and shine.
And look who was able to rise and shine and join us this morning from the Mother McAuley Choir. It's Grace Solaro. Good morning, Grace. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Grace, you're a senior at Mother McAuley. Were you in the choir all 4 years there?
Yes, I've been in the choir since freshman year.
What does it mean to you? What kind of feelings does singing in the choir bring to you?
I think really the sense of community is what stands out to me the most. Is just being able to come together with all these girls who I've, grown to know so well and grown to love so much, and being able to sing together and do what we love is just been amazing these past 4 years.
We know that academically, Mother McAuley is a school that is pretty challenging. So how do you balance, being in the choir, which I'm sure you get a class period to be in choir, but you have all these other extra rehearsals and other performances. Then you have your academics. Is it hard balancing everything, finding time to get to rehearsal, but also getting a good grade on your AP history?
It's been something I've had to learn how to do for sure, but because it's something that's so important to me, because it's something that I've always wanted to keep in my schedule and keep being able to do, it's been pretty easy to be able to find the time for rehearsal, but also to get all my work done and just find the balance in the middle.
What do you sing in the choir? Soprano, alto? What's your voice range there?
I'm a soprano one.
You're a soprano one. Okay. Are you really good at hearing harmony, or is that something you got to work on?
I think by now I'm pretty good at it. Freshman year, probably not as much as I am now, but
Oh gosh,
I've gotten pretty good.
I was just awful at it. I love to sing, and I have like a 4-note range. So I'm just, my kids always laugh at me when they hear me singing. But the hardest part for me is always harmony. And you have such beautiful harmonies when you sing together. Is there a particular number you remember that you just enjoyed singing and harmonizing on?
Definitely the one that you showed previously, which is Will the Circle Be Unbroken. I love that song. And then I remember singing I Will Rise last year right around Easter, which was one of my favorite songs as well.
Okay. And you're a senior, not to put you on the spot, but have you made a decision about what's next for you after high school?
No, I know I have top 3. I'm down to top 3, but I don't.
You haven't made your decision yet. Well, whichever you choose, I'm sure it'll be a great one. I want to thank you very much for joining us today, Grace Solaro from the Mother McAuley Choir. We truly appreciate you taking time to be with us, and also your director, Carrie Elefantis, who was with us just a few moments earlier. I know that a bunch of you from the choir are headed to New York, so are you going as well, Grace?
Yeah, we're leaving after school today.
Okay, well, enjoy the bus ride to New York City. And as we go to break, we're going to listen once again to the beautiful sounds of the Mother McAuley Choir. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We have more music from our Catholic schools coming up just after the break.
Catholic Charities Blossoms of Hope Brunch will be held on Sunday, April 30th at Drury Lane in Oak Brook, in support of the Loving Outreach to Survivors of Suicide program, also known as LOSS. This inspiring brunch is an opportunity for all members of the LOSS community to gather with its founder, Father Charles Ruby, in support of the program and to celebrate the resilience that can be attained over time. For more than 40 years, LOSS has been compassionately accompanying individuals and families on their journey through grief. The program has been recognized by the United Nations as a model for helping those grieving this tragic event in their lives. In-person and online resources help people around the country find healing and joy in life again. To learn more about LOSS and the Blossoms of Hope Brunch, visit CatholicCharities.net.
People always say, how can you spend your day with 3-year-olds? Seeing the changes that they go through and just the journey and how they grow, this is a very rewarding job. Even though at the end of the day, we're not the highest paid people on earth. And when I have a parent contact me and say, my child loves school, that to me, I'm setting that foundation for their love of learning, because really you are changing lives, you are molding lives.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs. Welcome back, everybody, to Catholic Schools Today. I'm Vince Girasoli, and we are devoting today's program to the glorious voices who were able to join us for our Easter broadcast. We broadcast Mass on ABC 7, and we were so fortunate to have choirs from two of our area Catholic high schools join us, and we wanted to just continue to shine a spotlight on them and their wonderful sounds with this particular stream as well. So I'd like to welcome now from St. Ignatius College Preparatory Academy, Mary Ellen Schneider. Good morning, Mary. I hate to say good morning because people are watching the stream at all different times, but thank you for joining us is probably the wish I want to get across there. How are you doing today?
I'm well. It's my pleasure to be here.
I have to say, you blew my socks off when I was at the recording. With your Bella Voce choir, and you also had your, I want to get the name right, the Concert Choir Orchestra. Help me get the name right for
It's just our chamber orchestra.
with the
our
chamber orchestra. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, we were at the recording, and of course I was expecting something wonderful, but it was something that overwhelmed me. It was more than I had anticipated. You and the students should really be proud.
I'm very proud of them. It was a wonderful experience.
Well, you know what even was more impressive is when you told me how many days you had to put it all together. You got the call from us kind of late, and you were able to put together something wonderful. How many days did it take you to prepare for that performance?
We spent about 4 days preparing for it. We had a concert the week before, so we were a little late to start the music for the broadcast, but they did a great job. It just is wonderful.
How many students are in your music program?
In the music program here right now, we have 105 students.
And
There
that includes chorus
are,
and orchestra as well?
40, yes, that includes the orchestra and choir. There's 45 in the orchestra, and the remaining are in the choir, and we have 3 different choir groups.
Well, let's take a listen right now to one of the selections, and everyone who's listening to the stream can decide whether I'm exaggerating or not. I know you won't think I'm exaggerating. You'll probably think they're just as wonderful, if not more so. So let's take a listen to your first number that you were able to perform for us for our Easter broadcast. What a perfect setting for all those beautiful voices, too. How often do you get to perform in that particular space at Holy Family?
We perform all of our concerts in Holy Family. So we give 4 concerts a year, and then we perform there for First Friday Mass and other types of prayer services that come up during the school year.
How do you go about choosing the particular numbers that you perform?
I look first at seasonally what is going to work best for us, and then really study it to see what will work best with the students' abilities and highlight their talent through it. And these particular pieces that we picked for this, we just wanted this beautiful idea of Easter, what a celebration in our liturgical year, and then just be able to really, really highlight both our singers and our players.
Do the students continue to surprise you with how beautifully they harmonize together? I mean, are you surprised sometimes, even though you're working really hard on it, and then you hear the final product and you go, wow, that really is good?
Always, always. That happens always. I know that they're going to do a great job because they're talented, they're dedicated, they're hardworking. But sometimes it just is a wow, when you hear it, and especially when we're able to perform in Church of the Holy Family. It's great because what a beautiful setting with wonderful natural reverb in there. So, it's just gorgeous. It's wonderful.
And that's the perfect setup for us to sit back, relax, and enjoy another one of the performances from the St. Ignatius College Preparatory Academy Bella Voce Choir.
Sun of God,
And now we have the pleasure of speaking to two of the students who made that musical interlude possible. We're speaking to Anna Kelly. She's a junior in the choir, and also to Brandon Boersma. He's a senior in the orchestra. Thank you both for joining us. Brandon, we need to see a smile on your face. We got Anna smiling. It's just okay. That's great. Anna, I'm going to start with you. How much of your time is devoted to choir at school? Is it? I imagine it's a significant time commitment.
Yes, so I think we meet about 4 times a week. It's in our 50-minute periods. We have a rotating schedule. So we meet almost every day, but we have one day off. And we also come, because we're in the honors group, we come in the mornings on Wednesdays at 7:15. So it's an early commute, but we get here to practice with the ensemble. And yeah, we spend a lot of time just working on our pieces for concerts or mass if we have mass coming up. So like this week, Stations of the Cross, we've been practicing for mass, just stuff like that.
And Brandon, how important is music in your life?
It's been such a significant factor in my life. I mean, ever since 4th grade and I picked up the cello and started playing, it has been like so meaningful to me. And I'm going to continue to do it through college and through the rest of my life. And I'd like to share it with the rest of the world.
What emotions go through you when you're performing, Brandon?
It's a mix of like bittersweetness and harmony. It's so nice to hear yourself play with the rest of the orchestra and men together and with the choir as well, making just beautiful music that sounds so well.
Just a lovely sense of community. And I would imagine that when you hear yourself harmonizing with someone next to you, it kind of boosts your feelings in the moment.
Yes, definitely, especially in the church too. Like Ms. Schneider said, the reverb in the church is amazing. So hearing the instruments behind me and like my peers next to me, like we were really able to hear each other in the church. And it really gives a boost to just keep pushing forward. And the sound sounds so big. Like when we cut off at the end and you can really hear the harmonies ring through the church. It's amazing.
Okay, well, Anna is finishing that very tough junior year, so college applications are coming up. Brandon, how about yourself? Do you know what you have in store after graduation real quick?
After graduation, my number one school right now is Purdue Engineering, and I'm really looking forward to that. I got a few other schools I'm waiting on, but you know,
well,
best
of luck. Best of luck with your decision, and we know you will be bringing your cello with you. So I want to thank Anna Kelly and Brandon Boersma for joining us, and also a little bit earlier in this program, their music director, Mary Ellen Schneider. Everyone from the St. Ignatius College Prep Academy, the music preparation program there, the music, I guess in some sense, since it's a Catholic school, you could call it a music ministry, but just beautiful sounds. Thank you for joining us. You helped us with our Easter broadcast, and you joined us once again for this stream as well. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And if you have a chance to hear both of the choirs that we were listening to today, make a chance to go to one of their live performances. Thank you again for joining us for Catholic Schools Today.